Hello, everyone. It's Erin Stutland, creator of Shrink Session Workout, Tone Your Body, Expand Your Mind. This is the place to come to help you create movement in your body and movement in your life. And today I am so excited because we are talking about going with your gut, banishing the bloat, and we're really talking about changing your relationship with food and your body. And I'm really excited because we have someone amazing here who is an expert at this very topic, my good friend, Robyn Youkilis. Robyn, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here and just thrilled to get to spend some time with you online.
I know
we hang out in person, but now we get to, have something recorded.
I know, and we haven't had an opportunity to see each other in a while. So I'm actually really excited to talk about what you're doing right now and all the beautiful things coming up in your life. Before we dive in, I want you guys, everyone listening, to hear a little. I want to tell you a little bit about Robyn and what she's up to. So Robyn is a certified wellness expert. She's a TV personality and author that the Today Show, People Magazine, Red Book, and thousands of women go to when they look in the mirror and ask, what do? I cannot deal with another diet. The thing about Robyn is that she's known for her straightforward yet supportive style, which I can absolutely attest to. And she helps her clients through her health coaching practice, Your Healthiest You, break free of the craziness of dieting and connect to their inner sparkle, their truest and best selves through no-nonsense action steps. She has been featured in the Cooking Channel, the Wall Street Journal, Health, Men's Fitness, the Huffington Post, the list goes on. Robyn truly is a rock star, and she is the person that you want to hear from and talk to when it comes down to trusting your gut and dealing anything really food related. So I'm really excited today because Robyn, I know that you've worked for a long time with clients one-on-one, and you've had a really tremendous and outstanding health coaching practice. And I know there are probably actually a lot of health coaches listening, but can you share a little bit about, the biggest issues that you were seeing and working with your clients on?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's been a while. It's been over 6 years that I've been doing this. And the women, I noticed that mostly women, some men too, but the women that were coming to me, all the symptoms were sounding the same. It was, I'm bloated, I feel blech after I eat, I don't have any energy, and fed by not knowing where to go, like how to fix that, in quotes. Is it supplements? What foods? Yeah, I'm supposed to eat kale, but when I eat kale, I feel really bloated. So am I supposed to eat kale, and how good is this for me? And just coming back and realizing, it all starts from this one place, the part of us that takes care of the rest of us, as I say, our bellies, our digestive system. And if I could lead from that place and create these simple practices and steps, like chewing switching up their liquid intake, things like that so many of the other digestive issues, even the more serious ones, heartburn, acid reflux, IBS, things that are happening, as a result of poor digestive habits, we're clearing up without medical professionals and without having to spend thousands of dollars on XYZ. It was just more like, okay, how can I take these simple practices and put them into play, and seeing what a massive shift that can have in our bodies.
Mm. And were any of your clients coming to you? Because I know that, there are probably a lot of listeners thinking, and I hear this question a lot come up through my clients and students in Shrink Session, is the question sort of like what you said, like, what do I eat? Do I eat kale? Do I not eat kale? So this real big question of what do I eat? But there's also, an issue, and I think you really do address this beautifully through your coaching and your writing. I'm guessing that also you have clients who've come to you as like, yes, I need more energy. Yes, I don't know what to eat. But like, is there also the question of like, and I kind of want to lose weight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the big taboo thing in healthy, happy wellness land right now, right? Like no one can talk about wanting to lose weight anymore.
Right.
And I'm willing to talk about it because I get that, our weight, when we come at it from a place where we're like, it's not just that I want to be a smaller dress size. It's that I know I have these habits that are not making me feel good. I know that I'm overeating at meal times, regardless if it's a healthy meal or, whatever, even what is that even? But like, regardless of what I'm eating, I know I'm eating too much of it. And I know I'm turning towards food at night, and I don't want to be. And because of those habits in our day, they carry extra weight on them, these women, and they want to lose it because it's just a reflection of behaviors that are already not making them feel good. And when they come to me, either I, sort of address it that way, or they already know, that's where we need to start. It's like, okay, how can I shift the behaviors? And then the weight loss becomes a beautiful natural release byproduct of our work together and the practices that I instill in them.
I love that. That's such a beautiful way that it is a byproduct of the practices and the new habits that you're working on. What do you feel are some of the I love that you're sort of addressing it from sort of the behavioral way. And I think I hear that a lot as well. Like, I know I'm not doing the right thing. What if you were to think of I know this is so hard to reduce it down to your top 3 sort of tips and steps that you're like, these are the biggest things that have the biggest impact on how people feel physically. What do you think those things are? Because I know you have a couple. I mean, you have a lot of them, and we're going to talk about what you're currently working on right now in the book you've got going. But what are the 3 biggest things that you're like, these are game changers for people?
What's so funny as you're saying this, I'm like, actually, I love that she's asking me this because my gut just immediately gave me the answers. And I'm like, this is what we need to share.
I love it.
It's so fun to live like that. So we'll get to that. But here are my 3 answers for you. So first up, we were never taught how to eat. So we were taught to finish our broccoli, don't fight with your brother at the table. You have to eat that anyways, or, maybe I'll make 6 different things for you. But no one said, here's how you eat. And here's how you eat. You sit and you feel your breath in your body. You look at your food, you take a second. And most importantly, and the biggest thing that I really teach in everything that I do is chewing. And when I say chewing, I mean chewing your food until completely masticated, till liquid, till mush, depending on whatever the item is, keeping it in your mouth, allowing the saliva to do its job, allowing your teeth to do literally what they were put there for, before you swallow it and put all this unnecessary pressure and to-dos on your lower digestive system. So on your intestines, your stomach, your pancreas, your spleen, everything down there. So really that is how we are meant to eat. We are designed this way, is to chew our food completely before swallowing. So that's always my number 1 tip.
Okay, wait, before you go on to number 2, because I want to talk about that because I love it. I remember one time we were at dinner and you were talking about, you were doing like a chewing challenge with your community. And I forget, how many times were you like encouraging people to chew before they swallowed their food?
I always say, counting works for some people. Ideally like 30 is great. If you can 20 minimum, that depending where you're starting, that might be huge for you. Okay. Most of us typically bite down about 4 to 6 times on something before we swallow it, which is crazy. So counting works, but I always say just to liquid. Ask yourself, can I chew this any longer? And what happens is half the time you just get really bored and you're like, my meal is taking me forever and I'm just kind of over it. You realize that it's not about the food, or you're in a completely relaxed and lovely environment and you can have that leisure of spending that time with each bite and really taking your time and breathing as you're going through the process. So what happens when you get bored, right? You leave maybe half, maybe a third, maybe just a few bites of food left over on your plate. When you're hungry, you're much calmer during that process. So you're way more likely to go into parasympathetic nervous system and your gut is calm. And therefore, how do you think it digests that food for you? In a really calm and grounded way. You absorb the nutrients better. You get rid of the toxins better. You guys want to be pooping. Everybody wants to be pooping on the regular. That's where it starts.
Yes, and I have to tell you, I mean, I think about that. I'm so glad that we had that conversation when we were talking about your chewing challenge, because I think about that when I eat my food. And there are times that I notice and I'm like, oh my God, I'm eating so fast because you're so hungry. If you've waited too long to eat and then you're starving and you just start shoveling it in. And one of the biggest things that I try to do that I've sort of worked on as a result of even talking to you about this is really taking that time to chew. And it's like your hunger kind of catches up. You allow the food to really digest. So you suddenly, like you said, you're not as hungry as you might have thought because you're taking the time to eat. And I also make sure that I employ that, just for those of you listening. If I'm having a little problem going to the bathroom, I'm like, I'm not chewing my food well enough. And I could talk about poop all day long. It's honestly one of my favorite topics because it's so important. So That is like one of the things that I always turn to if I'm like, I'm having a little trouble. I make sure that I turn to the chewing. So I'm so glad. Yeah, it's awesome. So thank you for that. It's a huge one. And I think about you too when I do it. I'm like, Robyn. I'm like, Robyn
Eric,
would
you
be
know,
so
everyone
happy.
says that to me, like literally. Oh my God, people are afraid to eat out with me, but in the best way possible, because they're like, good. I needed this reminder. You know,
Yeah.
I am the mirror for you, and they're the mirrors for me too, because you know, anybody listening that's like, okay, this sounds like it could be really hard, and you know, first of all, how can you let it be easy? And second, it's a practice. You know, this really legitimately took me 3 years to learn before I was doing it more naturally. And I still catch myself. And I know those moments when I'm shoveling food. And I know those moments when I'm in a rush. And usually there's something else going on in my day. I overscheduled myself. You know, I'm anxious about something. I got too hungry, as you said. So really, it's a practice, being gentle with yourself. And you may just be listening and say, you know what, my advice would be to start with one meal a day, or even just start with part of your meal. You know, if you're someone that really only has 15 minutes for lunch, you know, well, spend the first couple minutes of it really chewing your food really well, doing just even a little bit, and trusting that the practice will strengthen over time and that your life will support that happening.
I love that. Wonderful. Okay, so let's move on. What's your next tip? So chew, everyone. Yeah.
Yes. My next tip is to eat your probiotics.
Tell me about that. Because I know you're a huge, like, you are the sauerkraut, like, queen. I'm going to label you the sauerkraut queen.
I'll take it.
And so I also, when I get sauerkraut, I'm like, Robyn would be so proud of me. So talk about probiotics. So this is, you know, if you're sort of into health and healthy eating, this is like a word that you hear, but you know, you don't necessarily know how to get it. I know that I've been to the health food store, I've been to Whole Foods, and there's like a gajillion different probiotics, and I'm like, do I get one? That one's $60, that one's $20. How do I get my probiotics, and why do I need probiotics? So talk about probiotics.
Okay, let's do it. So first of all, yeah, the supplement aisle is really confusing. It's confusing for me. And I do sometimes recommend taking a probiotic pill. It's nice to get a little, you know, insurance, but you need to rotate them. There's different strands. It gets confusing. You know, you need a coach.
Yeah.
You need a coach for the supplement aisle.
You really do. You really do.
Yeah. But for the rest of us, you know, that may not be in the place of working with a coach yet, or wherever they're at. I always say, go for the food. Where can you get it in a natural food source? So we've heard a lot about yogurt, right? We've heard about some fermented drinks like kombucha, but I really say go for the sauerkraut. And when I mean that, I mean raw, fermented, unpasteurized sauerkraut. And it's the kind that you want to get in the refrigerator section. You want to make sure pretty much the only ingredients are like the cabbage and some sea salt and maybe some other vegetables. You know, maybe it's a beet kraut, or they're doing all these amazing things, and kimchi. Just make sure there's no sugar, there's no vinegar, and again, it's refrigerated. And what happens in there is it is this beautiful anaerobic environment of lactic acid bacteria that builds up, and it grows these different probiotic strains. And all these different probiotics get into your gut, and they populate it in there. They repopulate the friendly bacteria you've already got in there. They add in new different kinds, and it creates this healthy, happy environment. And when our guts are in this beautiful homeostasis, everything else can do its job. So that is the center of our immune system. So if you say, you know, I'm always getting sick, or, I don't want to get sick this season, like, fork in the sauerkraut jar right away, because that is what's going to build up your antibodies. There's cancer depleting compounds in sauerkraut. Like, literally, like, it does so much. And it's easier for your body to assimilate those probiotics than necessarily in a pill form. So raw fermented sauerkraut, I suggest that over dairy products because most of us can digest them. And when something's been fermented, it's been broken down a little bit in the digestive process. So it's almost like someone chewed it they didn't really chew it, but fermentation, right. So you can think of it like that. So if people have they're like, well, if I eat cabbage, I'm going to be tooting, off to
right.
myself off the mountain. But generally you're okay with sauerkraut because it's been fermented. So there's been a breakdown a little bit there that makes it more digestible for you. So it really is an amazing food. And if you've never had it before, just have a little bit to start. Some people's bodies react different. If you have candida, you might want to not have it, but if generally you feel like you're in good health, but you're like, you know what, I could be pooping more, I want more energy, I want to lose weight. I want to feel better in my body. I want to, not be getting sick and feel healthier and vibrant. Sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut, amazing. And we're gonna talk a little bit about your book, Go With Your Gut, and there is a simple homemade sauerkraut recipe in there, correct?
Yes, and I was actually really insistent on shooting day that they shoot me my hands doing it because I'm like, if I don't show my girls physically how to do this, they're not going to do it.
Totally. Yes.
Like you have to see and then to do. But it's okay. It's totally fine to start with buying it at your local health food store. There's even great companies that send it online. But I always recommend making it. First of all, it's so cheap. A head of cabbage for like 2 jars of kraut's like $1. So it's insanely cheap. And also you get different strains of probiotics at different points of the fermentation process. So they grow and they develop and they change over time. So you'll get a different product at 2 weeks than you will once it's been fermenting at 2 months. And it's really nice to get all of that. So you'll be covered even a little bit more. And it's fun. Like you're getting in there and you're like, look what I can do. You'll be so proud of yourself. And post it all over Instagram and tag Erin and I.
Yes, and I want to talk about your Instagram in a second as well. Really quickly, how long can the sauerkraut sit in your refrigerator? Like forever?
Oh, like forever, basically. Yeah, some people keep it in a crock in their cavern for like years.
But it has to be in your refrigerator, right? Like it has to.
It doesn't. So when it's done, so when you fermented it to your liking, that's the other fun reason why it's fun to ferment your own foods. If you really want a super mild flavor, but still some of the benefits of those probiotics, after a couple weeks, just move it into the refrigerator. The refrigerator is called by one of my mentors, Sandor Katz. He's like the mad scientist genius of the whole fermentation world. He calls it a fermentation stopping device.
Okay.
That's literally how he views it. So when you're good with it, put it in. If you want it to go further, like a month, and you want it to be a stronger 10-year flavor, then when you're done with that, then put it in your fridge. And then once it's in your fridge, oh my God, like again, a year probably plus. I mean, I'm not sure everybody would say that, but if it's still good. Like it should taste tangy and sour and still have that kind of like strong smell. It shouldn't smell weird or off or like mold. And if you see mold, you actually can just scrape it off and throw it away and it's probably still fine. But I've never seen mold when it's been in my fridge.
Sauerkraut. And then you have to kind of find some recipes of what you can like add it to. But and this is where I'm going to tell you about Robyn's Instagram shortly, because she's always mixing it and putting it on things, and you'll get inspiration and ideas of how to actually enjoy your sauerkraut in a lot of different forms. Amazing. Okay, so let's go on to tip number 3.
Yes. So this, funny that, and this is straight from my book and my philosophy and my coaching practice, and you wouldn't think you'd hear this in a book about your gut, and that's half cookbook, but it's to move your booty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're preaching to the choir here, but let's talk about that because it's so important, and I don't know that people always connect the two, moving your body and how that impacts your digestion and how you feel, physically around food. So talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we are both, movement in your body creates movement in your life, and that can be anything, just something that feels good to you. Some of us are runners, some of us are dancers, some of us just want to stretch and lay on balls and foam rollers, and some of us, love our yoga. It's just any way that you can get into your body, breathe, be present, and move your organs around. And, even a little simple practice, if you're listening right now, like go ahead and just twist to the right and think about what that's doing to your intestine and your stomach, your upper, lower, everything, even like your bladder, you might feel, then twist to the other way. And you're bringing yourself out. You're helping your body process everything that you're giving it, because think of how much we're giving our bodies, right? Mentally, thoughts and food that it digests for us every single day. And so by just creating some of that movement in our bodies, which of course moves our bellies, we're helping that all along. We're helping our bodies literally digest our lives.
I love that. And I know what I love about you as well, and I feel the same way, and it's something I encourage people to do. You're not someone who subscribes to only one form of movement. You like to try a lot of different things. I see that you like to run, you do yoga. Are there certain things that you do at certain times based on how you feel, based on what you've been eating, based on what you want to achieve with your gut, in terms of movement?
I go for, for me, I always check in with my gut first, like what do I need? And then I generally have a short list of what I love that I put into rotation. And really my biggest answer to that is I go to what feels inspiring to me that day. I hear that little voice from my belly come up, say, you really ballet, get
Mm.
yourself to your ballet class. When can you go this week? Thursday, great. And then I hear the little voice that says, my spinning instructor, Eve at Soul Cycle, I just feel so good around her. When is she teaching this week? Oh, Wednesday. Perfect. Okay. So then by Friday, I'll probably want some yoga. Oh, my favorite teacher, Dominic, who I always find really inspiring at Yoga Vita, he's teaching at 4 o'clock. That works perfect in my schedule. And that's how I shape my week. And, movement and exercise and feeling good in my body is a non-negotiable for me. So really it's like, okay, I've got the who I know is kind of doing what, where, and when, and how I can fill that in with what works for my schedule and just what calls to me in that moment. I've even hit you up and said, I need some Erin. I need some I need to just say some shit that needs to come out of my body.
Totally. Totally. That's great. I think that's a really important point for people to really take is, a lot of times people are looking for like, well, what exactly should I, they have the same questions around movement as they do around food. What should I eat? They say, how should I move my body? And I think something that we both emphasize is this is really about tuning in and trusting your gut and moving in a way that feels good and inspiring to you. And that you should take those ideas and those practices and bring that to every area of your life, quite frankly, to your food, to your relationships. And so that leads me to talking about this wonderful, beautiful book that is now out and available for purchase. Go With Your Gut, The Insider's Guide to Banishing the Bloat with 75 Digestion-Friendly Recipes. So first of all, congratulations, because I know it's such a huge accomplishment. And by the way, everyone who's listening, this is what I love about Robyn. Robyn and I we get to sort of talk about our personal lives as well. Robyn is also about to have a baby at just like any moment. The baby is coming in the next month at the same exact time that our book is coming out. Talk about going big or going home, right? So I know that this has been also a huge accomplishment to get this book out while you're also growing a human. So congratulations on both of those huge things.
Thank you.
And tell us just a little bit quickly about the book. I mean, I know a lot of it covers even more in depth about what we've talked about today, and then even more. So tell us a little bit about what people can expect from the book.
Yeah. So, what you can expect from the book is all these sort of juicy tips and simple practices and ways to put them into place in one place, along with the recipes that go with all of this. So if you're like, okay, I want to know the how, I want to understand why, I want to be able to do this in my life. And I also love to, look at cookbooks and beautiful photos of food, and how can I bring that in my life in a way? Again, everything that I do is really straightforward and really simple. The recipes are as simple as I could get them. I kept testing them until I was like, okay, can I take out this extra bowl? Can I take out this extra step? Does it need this ingredient? And so all of this is designed to be really supportive for you healing your digestive system, connecting to your body, connecting to your food in a really fun way, and then having that intuitive voice that I've been mentioning, come to you louder and clearer and help you really guide your life.
It's wonderful. And, one thing I want to say about the recipes, to your point about, the fact that you keep them simple. And this is where I wanted to talk about Robyn's Instagram. I want you all right now to go and follow her on Instagram. It's Robyn Youkilis, and the spelling is right beneath this video, just in case you can't find her. The thing that I love, Robyn, about your Instagram is you always post. So she's always posting food, and it always looks amazing, but it's not that like amazing kind of food that you're like, like some professional photographer spent a ton of time like really like getting the shot perfect. Like it still is beautiful, but it feels, every post that you have about your food feels really effortless, from the way in which it looks and still looks beautiful, appetizing, wonderful, to the way in which you describe how you threw it together. Like everything always feels to me like it's very, hey, I was just in my kitchen and I had these ingredients and I threw them together and look at this amazing thing that I made. But it never feels fussy. It never feels overwhelming. It always feels, I look at it and I'm always like, oh, I could do that. And I'm someone who's, always kind of looking to improve my kitchen skills. It's not something that's like came naturally to me, or something that I've, done a lot over time. So I want you guys all to go and follow her on Instagram and more importantly, pick up the book, because I know that the recipes in there are things that you can do. They are simple. They are fast. I imagine they all take a limited amount of time to put together.
Yeah, I made everything. I'm not even a big recipe person, so I was one of those people like, "How are you writing a cookbook?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just gonna get there somehow," and I did because it is helpful to have guidelines, right? We like to look at something for inspiration and just to know how to do it, and that's when I say, I created this book to go from coffee table to nightstand to kitchen, but just like thank you for all the beautiful compliments on my Instagram, my food, because I want this book to get messed up. I don't want you to treat it like it's precious. I want you to write all over it. And, pick a recipe that speaks to you in there, make it a few times in a row, and then it will be like nothing. You'll have a muscle memory for it. And I totally, what you're getting from my Instagram feed is 100% true. I'm not staging anything. I'm not, it really is like I just do, these are the foods I keep around. And when you pre-order the book, I give a shopping guide, and these are the foods that I literally just buy them again and again, and I arrange them like a puzzle. Oh, this kind of goes with this, or oh, if I just make this dressing, it would make steamed veggies awesome. And all of that is in the book. I really wanted to teach the readers how I think about food and how it can be simple. We talk about, quick recipes or being simple, but it may not feel authentic to us. So I have a great little here's how to use the recipes in this book. Use them, read them like you would read a novel. And you don't have to do everything, but start slow and pick one or two and go from there. And then they'll be in your arsenal too. And, you have an Instagram feed, it'll feel effortless and just thrown together, and because that's what you will be eating for dinner, because that's what I'm eating for dinner.
Yeah, well, and that's what I love about your pictures. You're like, oh, this is what I decided to make for dinner. I had a little bit of this left over, and I threw it and mixed it with this. And it really does always feel like thrown together is not the right word, but it does feel quite effortless and quite easy. And more importantly, it looks always delicious and also nutritious and good for you, and not in that annoying health food way, but in a oh my God, that delicious egg on top of that avocado toast that I saw the other day. I was salivating. So please go make sure you follow her Instagram. But furthermore, I want to make sure that you guys all go out and get this book. I love what you said, Robyn, that it could go, from coffee table to nightstand to kitchen. And I think what's really cool about this cookbook is that you will be learning these recipes, but you're going to be learning these amazing and very simple to implement tips along the way as you read it. So all the information about the book is right below. And when you pre-order, Robyn has a bunch of incredible bonuses, a shopping guide, the extended good poop list guide. Hello, my favorite. Her kitchen essentials, an intuition video, and 5 bonus love your gut recipes. So I'm really excited about this book, and I'm so excited for you. So I just want to thank you so much for spending the time with us today and sharing these incredible, simple, easy to follow tips. And to learn more about Robyn, tell us actually where they can go. Which site are you directing them to right now?
So my name, RobynYoukilis.com.
Okay, so it's ROBYN, and last name is YOUKILIS.com. And again, all of those links will be right beneath this video. Robyn, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
I'm so thrilled we got to do this. It's just I adore you and love hanging out with you, as you know.
Yes.
But just to get to throw some professional, back and forth, and have the space and the opportunity to share this with your audience, who is such an incredible community of kick-ass people. I'm really honored, and thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And mazel tov on the book and the baby, and enjoy these last few weeks. And I can't wait to meet this little munchkin that comes into the world.
Thank you. I can't wait for you two together. We're going to strap the baby on my back and we'll just go shrink session it up.
We'll just go do it.
Little headphones and it's fine.
Done and done. Awesome. Thank you.
We'll Instagram it too.
Yeah, we'll be sure to Instagram it. Exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much. And I hope you guys will all check out the book and check out Robyn. It is definitely worth your time, energy, and investment. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the week. Enjoy the day. And we'll see you soon.